Welcome the Born on This Date channel, where we explore fascinating lives of individuals born on this day. Did you know that under Ronald Reagan, the United States national debt tripled from $900 billion to $2.7 trillion? That's an astonishing growth for a president regarded as a fiscal conservative. But was it all part of a bigger plan? Before entering politics, Ronald Reagan was a Hollywood actor who appeared in over 50 films. His experiences as an FBI informant, surreptitiously reporting on suspected communist sympathizers in Hollywood, had a huge impact on his views on communism and labor unions. How did this impact his later presidency? Let's find out. Ronald Reagan's Reaganomics policies, which promised to cut taxes, reduce government spending, and spur economic growth, resulted in economic growth but worsened income inequality, with the wealthiest Americans benefiting while middle-class workers' salaries stagnated. Was Reaganomics really a success, or did it create long-term problems? In the 1980s, Ronald Reagan's war on drugs resulted in increasing jail sentences for drug offenses, producing a boom in incarceration, particularly among Black and Latino populations, raising questions about the policy's underlying motivations. Was this really about stopping drugs, or was there another motive behind it? Some believe Ronald Reagan won the Cold War by outspending the Soviet Union. His military buildup, which included the Star Wars missile defense program, imposed a strain on the USSR's frail economy. But did Reagan actually bring down the Soviet Union, or was it already on the edge of collapse? In one of the 1980s most notorious scandals, Ronald Reagan's government was caught surreptitiously selling weapons to Iran and funneling the proceeds to rebel organizations in Nicaragua. Congress had prohibited U.S. help to these rebels, but Reagan's team proceeded against their wishes. Did Reagan knowingly break the law, or was he kept in the dark? Ronald Reagan was shot on March 30, 1981, just 2 months into his administration, by John Hinckley Jr. Miraculously, he lived and utilized the experience to gain popular sympathy. But did this event influence his leadership? Some historians think that following the assassination attempt, Reagan's policies became even more confrontational. During the 1980s, the AIDS crisis decimated the United States, but Ronald Reagan remained mainly mute for years. He did not openly address the situation until 1987, after thousands of people had perished. Activists claim his inaction cost lives. Did Reagan's conservative politics prohibit him from taking action, or was he simply unaware? Under Ronald Reagan, the Christian right wielded enormous political power. Evangelical leaders such as Jerry Falwell backed him, and in exchange, Reagan advocated for policies that reflected their values, such as opposition to abortion and LGBTQ+ rights. But was Reagan actually a religious believer, or was he simply exploiting the Christian right for votes? Ronald Reagan made a bold move in 1981 when he fired over 11,000 air traffic controllers who had gone on strike for improved pay and working conditions. This indicated that Reagan would not tolerate unions criticizing the government. Was this a necessary decision to keep order, or did it permanently undermine American worker rights? Despite his views on government programs, Ronald Reagan signed the Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986, which granted amnesty to almost 3 million undocumented immigrants. A surprise move from a conservative president. But did this law genuinely address the immigration issue, or did it introduce new challenges? Ronald Reagan was known as the Great Communicator, and his talks inspired millions. Critics claim that he utilized rhetoric to distract from policy shortcomings. Was his ability to connect with Americans his greatest talent, or was it all political showmanship? Ronald Reagan cut funds for environmental projects and reduced laws governing national parks and clean air. His administration attempted to sell public properties to private developers. Was Reagan's approach to the environment important for economic progress, or did it result in lasting damage? Some Americans believe Ronald Reagan was the president who restored national pride, reduced taxes, and brought the Cold War to a conclusion. Others believe that he exacerbated inequality, disregarded social crises, and increased the government debt. How will history remember him? Ronald Reagan's initiatives continue to have an impact on modern politics decades after his administration ended. Many Republican leaders describe themselves as Reagan conservatives. But would Reagan's programs be effective today, or was he merely a man of his time? So, was Ronald Reagan actually the hero that America remembers, or did his legacy contain a sinister side? Share your ideas in the comments. If you enjoyed this in-depth look, check out our next film on another divisive president. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories from remarkable individuals born on this day.